10 p.m. games should be illegal. There's one tomorrow, too. No, there isn't. That's today, and that should be illegal, too. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, it's a little ridiculous. Good boy. Play all the hits. Left the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let me finish. How am I supposed to go to bed after watching that? I'm quite hyped.
With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR.
Oh, there's no victory puppies today. Iggy's been asleep for hours. Leafs win 4-3 in the shootout over the Vegas Golden Knights. And they cough up a multi-goal lead in the process. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fact that they won. And then we're going to talk about that. All right. You know the deal. The Leafs lost their last game against Colorado Avalanche. They were up 4-1. Matthews and Kerfoot and Bunting. That line was amazing. Nick Ritchie scored a goal, a power play goal. And Jack Campbell made a Save of the Year candidate. That should be a win, should be a win, should be a win. Every single time. It wasn't. It wasn't. It very wasn't. They lose it in overtime, but for goodness sakes, they get a point. And it's the Avs who are a good team. Hi, Drew. It was obvious that the fan base at large wasn't freaking out about this 4-1 collapse like they were a lot of the others. Some of that might be the loss was sort of understandable. I mean, it's difficult to play hockey when you don't play hockey, and the Leafs haven't played a lot of hockey. Also, I don't know about you, you're a hardcore fan, you're watching on YouTube here, but a lot of people have checked out. A lot of casual fans, no one knows when there's games. Let's say it's mostly that the loss against Colorado, while sort of unacceptable, at least not ideal, was somewhat understandable. But you're taking on the Vegas Golden Knights in Vegas. You're in the middle of a 4-game road trip. You're going to have to get it together eventually. And boom, right off the hop, they do. Kerfoot picking up another assist. This guy can't be stopped. Morgan Riley sends a rocket up the ice to William Nylander, who just piston crossovers. Watch this guy's feet. Seriously, watch this guy's feet. Tap dancer. At-ta-ta. Nasty little backhand forehand on Robin Leonard. And the Leafs are up 1-0 because of Willie. Like, we haven't had this conversation in a long time because we haven't needed to, but like, does anyone still not like William Nylander? Like, there are players that we can debate, you know, back and forth, but like, you look like an idiot. You know that, right? I'm not sure what else you want from him. You didn't like that he held out and then he didn't score afterward. All right, well, he's been producing like a madman for several straight seasons. You want some more goal scoring? There's more goal scoring. You want him to be tougher in front of the net? He's one of the best net front presences in the league by the score sheet. You want him to get stronger? Look at him. Look at him. He's one of the hardest guys on the team, if not the hardest guy on the team, to knock off the puck. You want him to play defense? He's on the penalty kill now. Well, sometimes, all right. Okay, rarely. But he's in there. He's clearly one of the most skilled, becoming more and more clearly one of the strongest, and subtly one of the better leaders on this team. I'm not saying you gotta worship the guy. Every Saturday night you're sitting in a pew with a Nylander jersey on. Some dude with blonde hair, sunglasses, and a Hawaiian shirt walks up with a collection basket. Instead of a wafer, it's prosciutto. You get it. I'm not saying he's faultless. No one on the Toronto Maple Leafs or on any team is, but my God, this guy is one of the best players the Leafs have. So the Leafs are clicking. Not only do they score, William Nylander scores a minute 24 into the game, but they get the first 2 power plays of the game. And it's a shame they didn't score on any of them because they would be the last power plays the Leafs would get. No, seriously, I know a lot of Leaf fans are going to get mad at Nick Ritchie, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but after the Leafs took the first 2 power plays of the game, they were then called 5 consecutive times. Statistically, stats why I want to know, what are the mathematical odds of a team taking 5 consecutive penalties in a National Hockey League game? Are you sure? Okay, we'll go with that. Anyway, this first penalty, yeah, it was a penalty. It was Nick Ritchie for hooking, and oh, Nick, dude, it was kind of lost in the loss against Calgary, but Nick Ritchie with that power play goal after getting put on waivers and the effort he was playing with, the tenacity, I was like, is this his best game as a Toronto Maple Leaf? And then he takes that penalty with like 2 minutes to go in the game, and I'm like, Nick! And then he takes this one, Nick! Vegas power play goal, oh, Nick. Now, in fairness, Nick Ritchie put the Leafs on the penalty kill. He did not play on the penalty kill, which was bad enough. On the penalty kill, there was a lot made of Jake Muzzin's decision here. Basically, Justin Hall is chasing the puck carrier behind the Leafs net. Jake Muzzin actually does a quick little shoulder check. He sees all the Vegas Golden Knights coming, but he's like, yeah, Alex Kerfoot is there. So here's what I'm going to do. Hall is chasing him behind the net. He's got nowhere to go. I'm going to pinch him. I'm going to cut him off behind the net, and then we're going to clear the puck around the boards to David Kampf. Unfortunately, what results is this. On the broadcast, they were like, oh, Justin Hall and Jake Muzzin don't both need to be below the goal line. All 4 penalty killers are below the goal line. Keegan Colasar with his 6th NHL goal and probably the easiest were tied after 1. But once again, like they did against Colorado, the Leafs, for about 5 minutes, find a way to just harness some magic. With Mitch Marner out, getting Ondrej Kase back is huge, and we haven't seen him play for a very long time. It's easy to forget how good this guy's been. Now, obviously we know Matthews Marner works. We've seen it work a million times. They've racked up a million points together. But there need to be other options when it's not clicking, kind of like late in the Montreal series. And the option needs to be a little bit better than just swapping Marner and Willie. There have been different combinations of Matthews with 2 worker bees, and it just hasn't really worked. If I remember correctly, there was a Matthews with, I think, Connor Brown and Zach Hyman, 2 wingers who I love, but I don't remember it really working. In the 2018 playoff series against the Boston Bruins, it was Matthews with Andreas Johnsson and Kasperi Kapanen, and that didn't really work either. This worker bee combination, it works. Michael Bunting, just relentless, will not let the Vegas Golden Knights clear the zone. Puck ends up behind the net. Ondrej Kase will not give up on the puck. He throws it in front to Michael Bunting, who draws all sorts of attention because he is a bull in a china shop, which leads to this. He is the team's leading goal scorer. By the time this season is all said and done, he might be the league's leading goal scorer. Austin Matthews left wide open in the blue paint. Now, we've talked about this before. A lot to do with John Tavares, really. But it's the best goal scorers know how to turn into a ghost. But the right line mates help create the ghost. Ondrej Kase and Michael Bunting do an excellent job here, getting Matthews the room that he needs. The Leafs have the lead. And then about 5 minutes later, forget about Austin Matthews, team's leading goal scorer. He's not even leading the team in goals per game. He's not even the most efficient goal scorer the Leafs have. Who is? Who is? You don't know? Cobra. Wayne Simmons fires it on. It goes wide of the net, but guess who's right there? You weren't expecting that, were you? No, and neither was Robin Lehner. Ilya Mikheyev with his 4th goal in 5 games. I am serious. That is a 66 goal pace. He cannot be stopped. No, but seriously, here, I want to highlight something. Ilya Mikheyev is obviously on a heater. I don't expect him to be on a 66 goal pace, but this is the Leafs doing something that they need to do to win, and something that Sheldon Keefe has begged for: playoff-style goals. Matthews with the worker bees. Ondrej Kase creating problems. Michael Bunting creating problems. Matthews right on the doorstep. So many of the Leafs bang-in goals this season, just like this one from Ilya Mikheyev, involve another player on the goal mouth. The Leafs always seem to have at least 2 guys there. Because obviously having 2 guys there gives you double the chance of hitting the puck, but also you have 1 designated net front guy. Teams can plan for that. But the more bodies you add to the mix, the more chaos you add to the mix, and the more likely mistakes are made and opportunities are found. The Leafs find them here, and guess what? Taking a multi-goal lead into the 3rd period. A reminder that heading into the last game against Colorado Avalanche, the Leafs were 17-0-0 when heading into the 3rd with the lead. Somehow, for the 2nd straight night, they blow it! I'm sorry, you can't tell me that's a little between the ears. We're good, we suck, we can't do this, we can't. Yes, you can! And they go, okay, we can. And about 90 seconds into the 3rd, they get scored on. So, you know what we talked about with the Leafs offense? Banging and crashing away at the front of the net, always having at least 2 bodies in front of the net. Even if a team plays good defense against you, there are goals that you can just take from them. What is this? Literally, what is this? No, you're not getting away with this 2 games in a row. Sorry, you're not going to blow multi-goal leads in the 3rd period 2 games in a row, and I'm going to go, oh, well, them's the breaks. Oh, but the record this season is really good. A lot of teams get that benefit of the doubt. A lot of them, and you ain't one of them. Was that? Why? Did you throw out your 2021 calendar already? Did you notice there weren't any games in June? Again, the Leafs go with the extra guy behind the net, and this play makes Austin Matthews look ridiculous because he doesn't pick up William Karlsson. The Leafs were losing the numbers game in front anyway. I mean, to me, just looking, if Matthews picks up Karlsson, that's great, but then there's another guy who's wide open because the Leafs have 3 guys behind their net. None of this is good. None of it. Throw it all in the garbage. Hey, it's great that you're scoring goals in a playoff way. This stinks. This is going to get you eliminated again. Knock it off. Then about halfway through the period, the Leafs take 2 penalties about a minute apart. Kyle Clifford, who is a Leaf again, takes a tripping penalty. About a minute into that penalty kill, hey, it's going smooth, and too many men on the ice. I'm trying to think of how many too many men on the ice penalties lead to a 5-on-3. It's usually, it's usually puck over the glass, but, are you... Okay. Alex Pietrangelo scores with a bomb on the 5-on-3 power play, because that's what happens when you give up a 5-on-3 power play to the Vegas Golden Knights, and now the game is tied. Okay, an excuse from the Colorado game that made me go, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense, is the Leafs sort of not really in game shape, just burnt themselves out in the first period. They just emptied the tank, and they had all this adrenaline being in front of a building full of people, and over the game, they were just clearly outclassed because they had nothing left. I can understand that once. What I can't understand is that twice in a row. Steve, for goodness sakes, it's the Vegas Golden Knights. Sometimes they're going to score 2 goals in the third period. A 3-1 lead is not a 4-1 lead. It is not that weird that the Vegas Golden Knights clawed back in their own building. And to that I would say, hey, you know what? You're right. But what about the shots being 12-2 in the third? Dude, why do you hate Jack Campbell? And it highlighted something that we ignored in the second period because the Leafs scored 2 goals. They were outshot 14-6 in the second. That means after the first period where the Leafs outshot the Vegas Golden Knights 9-6, that's good. 9 is bigger than 6. The Vegas Golden Knights outshot Toronto 26-8. And then 2-1 in overtime. We're not too worried about that. 26-8, man! Listen, if you get beat, you get beat. But that's hanging on for dear life. You cannot hope your way to the Stanley Cup. Heck, you cannot hope your way to playoff relevance. Oh, Steve, this again, it's January. Yeah, well, one day it won't be. And it always creeps up. These are the games you want. You want Colorado in their building. You want Vegas in your building. These are great tests. When you're in school, what is a test for? I mean, when I was in school, I thought it was for cruel and unusual torture. That was just math and chemistry. I was more of an English guy. Listen, if you're the Leafs and you think you are as good as you think you are, you look at Colorado on your schedule, you look at Vegas on your schedule, and you lick your chops. Because they're a test. And tests are where you find out how much you know. And luckily, it's not too late in the season for the Leafs to find out they still have a lot to learn. We all know how it ends. The overtime was actually kind of dull, and then it goes to the shootout. None of the first 5 shooters score. We all know how this ends. William Nylander opens the scoring, closes the scoring, beats Robin Lehner for the second time in this game, and the Leafs, you know what? They blow a lead, but they escape from the first 2 games of this road trip with 3 out of 4 points. Now remember, tomorrow they get the Arizona Coyotes, and if they lose that game, taking 3 out of 4 against Colorado and Vegas is going to kind of be obsolete. Peter Mrazek somehow, miraculously, playing just his 4th game of the season. Can the Leafs please do better in front of this goalie than they do in front of Jack? Questions. How much were you panicking when they blew another multi-goal lead? That's the thing, man. I wasn't. In situations of high stress like that, there are 2 different kinds of calm. One, there's confidence. Nothing's gonna rattle you. I am calm and stoic and ready to face the task. The other kind of calm is acceptance. When Vegas tied it, I'm like, yeah, Steve, you have such a poor attitude. It's not about attitude. It's not about mindset. My heart rate does not go up. Did you not see that Twitter thread the other day from Ineffective Math? The Leafs have blown 23 goal leads since 07-08. That's the year I started making videos. Not that this was a 3-goal lead, but did you get heart palpitations the first time you saw a really exciting movie? I bet you did. Okay, follow-up question. Did you get heart palpitations the 20th time you watched it? Can I guess your answer? Probably not. By the way, when it's the playoffs, no, my heart is beating out of my chest, but it's January. Would you say that Ilya Mikheyev's goal was Kodak moment? No. No. Produce? No. I don't want this to get demonetized. No. 2 questions. Okay, that's cheating, but why doesn't the person who gets the shootout winner get the goal? And number 2, why are shootouts a thing? Well, shootouts are a thing because the NHL insists on having a winner, and they don't want to go over a certain time when it comes to gameplay. So we're all like, give us 10 minutes of 3-on-3. Yeah, they don't want to do that. So here's the shootout, even though it could technically go 20 rounds. I went to an OHL game that was 21 rounds. That means there were 42 shooters, by the way. Even if they all only took 20 seconds from the moment they're announced to they get to center ice and then they do their move and then they skate off, 20 seconds per shooter, that's 14 minutes. You could have just continued overtime. It's also wear and tear on the players. Anyway, what was the other question? Oh, why doesn't the person who gets the shootout winner get awarded with a goal? That's like awarding the person who gets a game-winning goal in regulation 2 goals. Like, technically, the Leafs could have had 3 goal scorers in this shootout if Vegas had 2. So let's say Spezza and Matthews scored, and then Willie scored to win it. Willie gets 1 and Matthews and Spezza don't? And you might say, well, no, just give all 3 of them a goal. And to that I would say, no! Listen, I like where your head's at, but I also don't. Last but not least, some words from Sheldon Keefe heading into this next game against Arizona. We should be a little aggravated by how we've let these leads slip away here in these 2 games and take that aggravation and turn it into motivation. Yes, it is the Arizona Coyotes. Yes, Austin Matthews always gets jacked for this game, but second half of a back-to-back, a goalie the team straight up doesn't really know because they haven't really played in front of him. You gotta battle through this. You have to win this game. You cannot drop points to the Arizona Coyotes. So for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. We got a brand new Steve Dangle podcast tomorrow. Adam's going to be back, but we're still going to be on Zoom, but we're going to have fun.